Hello YouTube. This video is meant to introduce the idea of a WGTOW community and explain why we need a WGTOW movement or women going their own way. WGTOW is a response to the men going their own way movement, but not necessarily a mirror of that movement. There's a lot of misogyny and hatred towards women in the MGTOW movement, but I have been made aware that not every MGTOW man hates women. And I guess I'm hoping that the WGTOW community will be um, in accord with that section of the MGTOW community. WGTOW are women who embrace spinsterhood, meaning women who reject the idea of marriage and motherhood. And Big Tow is a subsect of WGTOW that will focus on the specific concerns of Black women, where the divest community suggests that Black women should stop dating Black men. Big Tow goes a step further and encourages women not to have children with or marry any man from any race. Why? We need a WGTOW movement because most men want women to fill one of two roles, the Madonna or the whore. This is a concept that was introduced by Sigmund Freud a long time ago. I don't think there are a lot of people who would disagree that this is how men still see women and will probably continue to see women for a very long time. Neither of these is particularly desirable roles. The Madonna is pure, submissive, virginal, and happy to serve. Because her value comes from her purity and submissiveness, she's never rewarded for independent thought or agency. Her role in society is under the complete control of men or of a single man, and therefore she has almost no protection from abuse or exploitation. Unlike the whore, she doesn't even have the ability to just leave. Her role is to produce children and serve others. She's expected to be happy serving others' needs, and nothing is more expected from the Madonna than sacrificing her own pleasure for the good of someone or something else. She's not expected to enjoy sex, and because it's her purity and non-sensuality that attracts her mate, um, there is rarely a fulfilling sex life between a man and a Madonna. The sex would tend to be both boring and perfunctory. The Madonna might be loved by a man, but she's mostly seen as a maid and a cook, a source of cheap labor around the house, and at worst she's seen as an appliance that is to be punished when it's not performing properly. On the other hand, the whore is a woman who men can desire but rarely love. The whore is the dreaded independent woman who understands how to use her sexuality to both please a man, manipulate a man, and also to please herself. Paradoxically, the tragedy is that while the whore is the woman who is able to give men pleasurable sex, for that same reason she terrifies men. Many men find it difficult to believe that a woman with her own agency will remain faithful and committed to him alone. And he's probably right. In the long run, most women who have the ability to leave a man will leave that man. And it's only their financial or emotional dependence on a man that can be trusted to keep most women in a long-term relationship. Um, the Madonna and the whore cannot, with very rare exception, be embodied in the same woman. One exception would be Marilyn Monroe. She could both ooze sensuality and she also had a childlike naivety that was irresistible to men. And look at how that turned out for her, right? One of the most iconic, sexiest, most desired women in the history of the world did not have a happy or fulfilling life. Even she did not have fulfilling relationships with men. In short, women cannot win in the game of love. There's no way to maintain a fulfilling relationship with most men. Women no longer need men for financial stability. especially in the Black community where most men are not capable or willing to provide for a wife and children, and most Black men are not interested in marriage. And if they are interested, they're not interested until their middle age. So most Black guys have the expectation of like pumping and dumping women all through their 20s, 30s, and most, if not all, of their 40s. Okay, that's just the truth of the matter. And then lastly, romantic relationships with men are dangerous both physically and emotionally. There's no other activity that is as dangerous, both, you know, psychically and physically, as romantic relationships. There's no other activity that dangerous that people would put as much effort into getting themselves into. Like, people spend billions of dollars every year trying to get into romantic relationships, believing that will make them happy, and the writing is just on the wall that it will not. Now, the MGTOW movement, which will be WGTOWs who are Black. This is necessary because romantic relationships with men are dangerous, but they're especially dangerous for Black women. All of the abuse rates, sexual abuse, domestic violence, verbal, emotional abuse, financial exploitation, they're dramatically higher for Black women than any other subsect of women. For Black women, it's dangerous to even live near Black men. So in the MGTOW movement, Black women are encouraged to move out of the Black community, especially if it's a poor Black community. Go to a mixed community to be the safest, right? Not all white and not all Black. Living in the most Black communities is just asking for disaster to strike you. Um, Also, having a child with a Black man is almost a guaranteed ticket to single motherhood. And who wants to be a single mom? In the Black community, men will abandon women with children and then blame women for having children. You can go online and find hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of men who have bastard children out of wedlock, berating and denigrating single moms, even though they are baby mama creators. It's not even worth arguing or trying to have a discussion. Just don't have their kids. Don't breed. In the Black community, all of the stigma for having children falls on women, even though women are the ones stuck with all the drudgery that comes from child rearing. So you find yourself in a situation where you're probably not getting the child support, or it's definitely not enough child support to actually support a child, right? So you're spending all your time, all of your money, all of the headache of raising a child, right? You get nothing but grief for it, and the chances of you successfully parenting that child alone are very low, right? Which is why we have the state in the Black community that we have. That's the reason. It's not anybody else's fault. Okay. The Black women will, the Black community will discourage women from seeking partners who can afford children by labeling them gold diggers, or even in the case of Kevin Samuels, trying to convince women that they're not worthy of productive men. And if Black women would just listen, Black men are telling us in the music, in the culture, online, that they do not think that we're worthy. So believe them. Don't wait until after you become entangled to realize how they feel about you. The same Black community that encourages Black women, not to seek out fit partners will turn around and tell you should have chosen better when you inevitably get abused or abandoned by whatever deadbeat you settled for. So just don't breed. It's not worth it. Do WGTOW hate men? Absolutely not. Men are what they are. You know, sometimes they're handsome, they can be charming, and they're physically stronger than us. They can be very useful. Some WGTOW will be celibate, some might be sex workers, and some might enjoy casual sexual relationships with men. WGTOW doesn't mean just like MGTOW rarely means that those men do not intend to have sex with women. WGTOW would feel the same way. It's just about tempering your expectations to reality. Lastly, and I intend to make more videos on this topic, And maybe I'll invest a little bit more in some software to make this more visually appealing if there's an audience for it. I want to close out here by saying, addressing the people who are watching this who are like rage shouting at their computers or phones, but not all men do that. Not all men feel that way. For you geniuses, I just want to say, like, no duh. I'm not going to keep saying not all men every time I speak about men. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this, you are smart enough to know how generalizations work and why they're necessary for discussing sociological topics. We are speaking in general about trends, and that's the way I would like this to go. Again, I'm hoping to partner with some MGTOW to, have some healthy dialogue about how we can adjust our expectations and learn how to get along, in light of reality and how we actually feel about each other. Thank you so much for watching my little video. I'm really excited about hearing what you guys have to say. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. And I will talk to you guys later.